Hey Realtors, I have a question for you. Have you ever checked in with a potential buyer just to get the message back, "Oh, hey, how are you? How's everything going? By the way, I bought a house back in July. We just used a different realtor because my husband really wanted somebody that was close by." That was me, friends. And it was my fault. Kinda. Not really, but kinda. One, I should have been checking in more frequently and just saying, "Hey, what's going on? How are you doing?" But I can't change the distance, right? So the story behind this client is that I had got connected with them when I was in Tennessee. And they moved to Tennessee and decided to live on base for a while first before they purchased. And that kind of changed our time frame, right? Initially, they were going to buy as soon as they got there, and I was there. Well, military life took us away from Tennessee, but I'm still licensed and still working there. And I was open and honest with them and explained, like, hey, when you're ready, I am in North Carolina now, and they actually just came from North Carolina, so it was like trading spaces. But just know that I can still help you. I will make plans, I will get there, I will show you properties in one fell swoop, and I also have, extra help with showing properties, and then when we get to one that is special, I can be there and help through all of the repairs and negotiations, all of that jazz, okay? I have a really good hybrid model down pat. I'm working between 3 different states, and I do it pretty well. So this is not something that's new to me. However, all right, that's my ownership. That's my ownership. I should have been checking in more, and I can't change the distance of where I'm at. Now, here's the responsibility piece on their part. When I initially told them, hey, you guys, we've made a military transition as well, and I need you to let me know. If you are uncomfortable with me helping you, then I will get somebody in my place. I have great connections, great people that work just like me that I love and trust and know will take great care of you, okay? So that option was given up front because I do know everybody can feel a little bit different about it. It's just like if you're not at their fingertips at a drop of a dime, then they feel like you can't do your job, okay? And honestly, that's the furthest from the truth. Opening houses up is like the smallest part of a realtor's job, honestly. And you guys know this already because I already had an episode about how if I got paid just to open doors, I'd be fired because we have so many issues with showing instructions and not being able to get into houses, keys being misplaced, nothing we can control. But my goodness, that is like the smallest part of our job. And I can have somebody else help show a property in a pinch. It doesn't matter if I'm literally 5 minutes down the road or 5 hours away. There are so many agents that use other agents to help with showings around conflicts in life and everything in between, right? There are teams that are set up where there is legitimately a showing agent. And then after somebody finds a house, then the agent takes back over, writes the contract, does all of the walkthroughs, does the inspections. There's a lot of different ways that agents do this. But I say all of that to say, the option was there. I gave the option up front. I said, hey, if you are not comfortable with this, no harm, no foul. Totally understand. Everybody works a little bit differently. But give me the opportunity to make sure you are in good hands. And that is where we went left field, my friends. So the rest of that conversation went, we bought a house back in July. We used a different realtor. We didn't really like the experience. It wasn't a really good transaction with that realtor, but we love our house, so it's okay. That's not okay. Now, every time they go back through that process, through that transaction, even though they love their house, they're going to be like, oh, this was not how I wanted it to be. It was difficult, right? There was hiccups along the way. Nobody had my back. I didn't feel good about this realtor, the person that was representing me. That's a sour taste in your mouth that could have been avoided. And I need you to know that if you're working with me, it's not a one-size-fits-all. Even if I were there and I'm not the right fit, a lot of times I can pick that out before you can. And I can say, hey, look, I don't think that I'm the right person to help you with this transaction, or maybe what you're looking for is not my specialty, but I've got this gal or I've got this guy in my office who's incredible, and I really think you all would be a match made in heaven. And I've done this before. I talked to a gentleman. I kind of had like a backup plan set in place, right? I talked to a gentleman that really was leery about using me because he was older and retiring and felt like I was not going to understand where he was in life, not going to understand his priorities, and he wanted somebody that was absolutely local to the area, born, bred, and raised in Clarksville, Tennessee. Okay? Well, I am blessed to have a beautiful panel of brokers in my Clarksville office. And so one of them happens to be a builder, and well, I say that. We have several brokers that are involved in building, but this one in particular is middle-aged, right? She is a builder, and she deals with retirees all the time. So I said, hey, can I just have this conversation with you? If for some reason this guy just thinks that I can't get with the picture, could I make an introduction to you? And she, of course, was fine with that, and so was he. I said, look, I think that I can do exactly what you need of me. However, if you feel like I can't, then let me know, because I have this amazing person in my office that I know you will align with well. And sure enough, we did fine that way. So it is okay to have those conversations, but it is up to you to have those conversations. I opened the door. I said, hey, if this doesn't feel good, if this doesn't work well for you, then you need to let me know, okay? And the reason that conversation came up is because they had, on a whim, just decided that they wanted to try to get a house a while back. And it was like hot and heavy, like, I want to see this house. I think this is the one, da-da-da. And then they went by it and realized that they really didn't like it, didn't like the location, and was just fine staying on base. Well, here's the other kicker, right? I told you that they bought a house back in July. Well, they moved on base in October. So I was checking back in accordance to like when I knew that they should be moving out and finishing up their lease on base. So there's a lot of communication that goes back and forth with that, right? If I've got a timeline that you've given me, I need to check in consistently and be a part of your world. However, if you change your MO and what's going on, it is your duty to relay that to your person so that we can take care of you accordingly. I had no idea that their time frame had changed or that they were looking again, and I had checked in with her several times and told her, that I was here for anything she needed. So I just want to remind you that it doesn't matter who you're working with, near or far, that you need to be open with communication with your agent, okay? We can only help you as much as you allow us. And I also need you to know, like, if you connect well with somebody, like this scenario, right, where we connected and we were fine, and the issue was that I'm not physically there in that location, you need to tell me that and let me replace myself. And this is why. Because I will replace myself with somebody that is just as good, if not better than me. My standards are high. I am not going to give you to anybody that I just don't absolutely know will do a fantastic job. And I have a list of people that are my go-to people anywhere and everywhere. And this just goes back to the referral system in general, right? When you're going to make a move and we've got a connection already, like you know me, it doesn't matter if you've used me in a real estate transaction or not, but you know me, you know how particular I am, the quality that I bring to the table, then you should feel really good picking up the phone and saying, Brittany, I'm moving to California. Can you please get me somebody there? I'm going to be at this guard base in Riverside. I've got you. Hey friend, I've got orders to Vegas. Who do you got? I've got you. Hey, I'm heading to Orlando. Who's down in Orlando? Who do you have? I have the most amazing lady that has a smile that will knock you off your feet. It doesn't matter where you're going. I more than likely have somebody in my pocket. I have a huge network all over. And in particular, right, I am a military family. We are still active duty. We still make these moves. 95% of my clients are military. I have the best military specialists in my pocket, regardless of what base, what location you go to. I make a very conscious decision to be networking and get to know these agents in these different areas because I want to have quality referral partners to send you to. And the beauty is that they like me, they know me, and they want me to be involved in the process. So they will stay in touch with me. They will allow me to be a little bit more involved than I typically could be. And if they're having an issue with communication with you, they can pick up the phone and call me and say, hey, this is our scenario. Is there a different way I can word this, or a different way that I can get across to them, like, what's going on? It seems like they're a little bit uncomfortable, right? We've talked about this before. And I can absolutely help with that, right? I can say, hey, the wife is the lead here, but let me tell you, the husband, he is super particular. I had past clients of mine call me a few weeks ago, and they're buying a house in Houston, and they said their agent told them that they're a little too handsy, as in like hands-on in the process. They're building a house, and they just were there every step of the way. They were stopping by the property. They wanted to know what was going on with it, and they were just very involved. And a lot of times we forget that process we're used to as realtors as like set it and forget it, right? You set it in motion, you got to wait for the house to be built, and then they're going to let you know when it's time to start inspections, and then you start rolling again. For them, they are watching their home go up, literally board by board, piece by piece. And they know it's theirs. They know their name is already on that property, and it's very personal to them. So we have to make sure that we are matching people and setting them up for success, right? If I pass that particular person along, I can say, hey, look, he's a really strong personality, but he cares about the facts. If you give him the information, if you give him the facts, he is so good. And he will trust you so much as long as you prove that you are there with him in his corner and that you will find the information he needs. That's all he cares about. He wants to know the numbers. He wants to know the timeline, right? He wants to know X, Y, and Z. How much is it going to cost me for my wife to get what she wants? That's all he cares about. And when do you need to have X amount of money by X amount of deadline? Everybody has different things they care about. And then I have, my sweet single mama of 3 babies that is just saying, like, I don't really care what house you get me into. Just get me into something that I can call my own. And I have so many different people that are qualified to handle those different delicate situations. And that's why it's really important that if you know a realtor that kind of gets how you are or the situation you might be in, you need to lean into them and trust them to help guide you with that connection regardless of where you're going. Because it will be a much better outcome if somebody knows what to expect on the other side, okay? On both ends of the spectrum, right? I just said that this client didn't have a good experience, and that could have totally been avoided if they would have just picked up the phone and called me and let me know what's going on. So all that to say is keep in touch. It's a two-way street, my friends. I absolutely need to check in with you and call and say, hey, how you doing? How's life? But if something is changing in your world, if you need to make a move, then you need to call me. Because I'm here for you, and I will help you every step of the way, regardless of whether it's with me or another agent. I am not offended. I am here to be in your corner and help you and facilitate this transaction to the best of my ability and to whatever you are comfortable with. So don't discount your realtors. We are very caring, emotional people. We care so much to make everything right that we will try our best not to ever let you down. So it doesn't matter if we're not the right fit. It doesn't matter if we are the perfect person for you. We will bust our butts and make sure that whatever you need done gets done. And that is truly the reality of the good realtors. We are all very type A for the most part, but we are all very much so people pleasers. And we really care about our reputation. We care about how people perceive us. And we want to know that we make you happy. That is like the biggest joy in the world to us. It's not the paycheck. It is legitimately knowing that we helped you facilitate this transaction and that you are meeting your goals and your dreams that you came to us with. And we got to be a part of that. That is a huge honor to us. So entrust us, allow us to be a part of your journey because we will be with you every step of the way. And we don't go away after the transaction. We are here. We stay a part of your world and we'll be an extension of you for your whole life if you let us. So remember, We love our clients. We love real estate. And we love putting you guys together. Have a great night.